Welcome back to my next update about my build of my Blood Angels army. I was lucky enough to get a quick delivery of another 5-man Dev Company squad. I generally tried to color match them with the first one, with just some slight differences. So for example, this time around I went for a much more white look to see how the contrast would be coming out. So I didn't mix in too much color to the standard white directly out of the bottle, and I have to say that on these models I think this is the better way, because the white comes out far better. It's a far sharper contrast to the standard black of the base coat, and I think this helps the model shine just that little bit more. Also, I had the chance to try out on the scrolls and purity seals the suggestion to use standard pencils to do the writings. While it's a little bit pale at the moment, I think for me using pencils is the better way. It just gives me so much more control over how the end result will look that I feel a lot more comfortable doing it this way than with a pencil and than with a normal brush. So yeah, I think the tip with the pencils was great and it worked out quite fine. What I have to say regarding the backpacks, I again magnetized them. However, my feeling is that if I would really start using Dev Company a lot, I probably would just double up on the models and glue them in place, once with the standard backpacks, once with the jump packs. For once they are quite easy and fast to paint, so I'm not losing a lot of time, and I have to say magnetizing them takes, at least for me, a lot of work. It might be better if you're more experienced, so that you can do it faster, but at the moment I have the feeling that it's just not worth the time involved to really do the magnetizing stuff. However, what I learned from my last build is that if you do it, you should leave a little bit of the plastic in place, so that if you snap on the standard backpacks, that they get a little bit of support from this plastic, so that they are a little bit more stable. The way I did the magnetizing, it doesn't help a lot with the jump packs, but at least for the normal backpacks it's a lot more stable, and it gives you a little bit more confidence when you're handling the models that not everything will be upside down and pointing in strange directions. So you should really probably do it in this way. Besides this 5-man squad, I decided it would be also time to increase the power of my Dev Company troops by adding one of the Dev Company Dreadnoughts. So this time around I also built one, and we'll take a quick look at this one as well. So here's my new Dreadnought. I have to say the building of it is quite easy and straightforward. It's not too many parts on the spruce, so you can't really go wrong when building it. You just have to watch out that you don't forget anything. But I think the paint job on it works pretty well, and it should be quite fun to use it. What I tried or did to try and break up the black panels is to go with a gray tone here on the outside of each panel to try and break up the large black blocks. I have to say, using a pencil it didn't work out perfectly. Sometimes the lines are just a little bit too thick to make it look good. So here I probably will have to either touch it up with a lot of black to make the lines thinner, or maybe if I ever do another of these threads again, try and use the airbrush so that I can get a smooth and small transition here for the panels. What I was also a little bit surprised on the model as it was provided by GW was regarding the blood talents, because on my sprue I only had 6 of the talents instead of the needed 8. So I'm not sure if I just don't get the instructions right and if I should have made 3 large ones and a small one, or if they just forgot to put the missing 2 pieces on the sprue. But it didn't look like something was missing, so it might be an intentional thing for them. However, luckily I once already built in the past a Furioso, and I still had the sprues around, so I could just take 2 of the talents from that old sprue, and with this build up my 4 talents. So now it worked out the way I wanted it. Regarding the talent itself, I was probably a little bit too timid with the color transition. So it's very blue with only a little light blue and white on the ends. Here I might go in again and add a little bit more lighter colors just to make the transition a little bit less harsh. However, in general I have to say I quite like it the way it turned out. I also used the pure white on the model to make the contrast a little bit more stark, and it did it for me. What I also found as a rather surprising problem to me was I would have liked to use some decals here on the sides, but I didn't find on the standard transfer sheet anything that really fits. The only thing where I thought it would fit would have been black decals, and black decal on black background didn't seem like a rather good idea to me. So at the moment I left it blank. I will try to look around if I see anything that would fit properly, or maybe I will go with one of the yellow numbers to put up, just to give it a little bit more contrast and detail to look at it, so that it becomes a little bit more interesting for the eyes. As a last build that I was able to do in the last weeks, now a drop pod to see how all these models could get into the action. So be right back. So now last but I hope not least, my new drop pod that I built. The red color that I used, the Scarlet Red from Vallejo, I have to say I like pretty much. It's just the right mix between being nice, bright and shiny, and at the same time still be a little bit dark, so that it's not overpowering. Insides are a little bit more simple, just the standard holders and the middle console, not painted off too much. Building the model itself, I have to say it was comparatively easy, because of course there aren't that many parts. However, what I encountered during building is that I just seem to be either unable to follow the building instructions so loosely that it fits, or that I'm just too stupid to understand them. I don't seem to be able to build a drop pod on which you can properly close the hatches. Mine always stand a little bit out, and I got no clue where I went wrong with the build. Just a very strange thing, but at the moment I get a feeling with all the gaps through the open hatches, I probably should give the drop pod to my opponents, have them drop their troops in, and then explain that they can't fight because they burned during the descent. But yeah, I mean, it's not really that big of a problem, because anyway, if you put it down on the board, you will open the hatches, so it doesn't matter anymore. But it's just a little bit annoying that I can't seem to find out what I made wrong and why I can't close the hatch properly. It's really grating on my nerves. What also didn't work out quite as well as I hoped it would are the symbols on the doors. I used a white base coat and just highlighted the symbol itself with gold. However, the gold just doesn't really stand out against the white and red background. There I probably should have chosen something else like black or something stronger, but yeah, something to live and learn by. The rest of the model from the painting was pretty simple and straightforward. I tried to do a little bit of shading on the doors, just to give them a little bit more of a color transitions and not have just one large red blob. I think it came out better than I feared. It's certainly not perfect at the moment, but I think I can work with it. The side panels, I used a little bit of black just to not have everything in red and silver. And I think it came out quite decently. The inside of the hatches, I tried to use a little bit of, focus. I just sprayed very fiddly some black on it to give it a slightly more used look, which I think came out quite nicely and just takes a little bit away of this fresh out of the factory look. So yeah, that was my current build update. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments or suggestions, please post them. And thanks for watching and have a nice day.